There's a general trend. What happens? First of all, if you want to get into a PhD, you should have that knowledge about PhD, right? So don't just come to PhD because you don't have anything left for you, right? So that is one thing. So even if nothing is left for you in terms of jobs or all those things, start preparing to make yourself fit for PhD, right? Because PhD can become very, very uh, mundane or very, very boring at times, where you might feel that you will give up. I mean, I can name so many people from my own department who have really given up. So that is something that I would like to say right at the very onset. Be very, very mindful of the activities and other things that you have to do at PhD, because PhD is an involving task. It will require you to sit and work and study for long, long hours. Besides that, be always careful in choosing your supervisors. Do adequate research on the kind of guide you want. See if your area is matched with the person who you want to take as your guide, and look at his past work. If all these things fall in place for you, only then go to the PhD program. Because this is something that will either hamper, or it will really, you will shine to the glory if this particular aspect is fulfilled. If you're not taking these things into consideration, then you might end up in a very, very bad position, which would feel like so much of a burden that you might not even continue with the PhD program. And think about it, if you get enrolled in a PhD program and if you're quitting after 2 years, you were not working, then imagine what would happen if you go out there and look for work. Nobody is going to give you work because they will say that you didn't do anything for the past 2 years, right? So you have to be very, very focused when you are making a decision of doing PhD. Make sure that you are in that phase of, again, learning, as much as you can, because you have to undergo all these examinations, you will have to undergo all this coursework and everything. You have to sit there and you have to formulate your research problem, and you have to work on your research as diligently, as laboriously as you can. So this is something uh, which sounds a little overwhelming for the upcoming students, but you have to understand it. This is really the reality of PhD. So you have to be at it, you have to work, because without working, without taking the responsibility on your own shoulders, you might not be able to complete your PhD on time. Once again, if you are choosing your supervisor or guide, do not think that your work is over. Your guide or your supervisor isn't going to do all the things for you. He or she is only there to show you the path, if he or she does that at all. So if and then after that, it's all you. It's your work. You have to do adequate research. You have to go places to find about what is happening with your research problem. You have to gather data. You have to learn techniques to solve the problem, and then you have to present your work to the world out there. And again, a very important thing, during the course of your PhD, make sure you know how to write research papers, research articles, because this is really one of the metrics which will be used when you will be hired in an institute to teach. Without a research publication, without research papers, you wouldn't find any job anywhere. And that's the fact of life. And this is important to understand, because many people do not understand. They might do a lot of work in their research, but when they do not have any substantial outcome in the form of research articles or publication, then it is of no use, practically no use, because nobody is even going to shortlist you. So cracking the interview is a secondary thing. You at least first have to get shortlisted, and if you're not being able to do that, then there's no point of your PhD, right? So make sure you write research papers while you are in your PhD. It can be any quality paper, right? I mean, not if I talk about management, for instance, we have called ABDC listing of journal articles, right? So try to I at least a B, if not A, or a C. Do not go beyond that. I mean, do not go below that, because if you have articles in the C, B, or A, I mean, A is supreme and A star even. So if you have articles in these journals, then you will get a very decent job, and people are going to really hire you immediately to apply. right? And after that, and also, along with that, make sure you also study for your exams there properly, because I've seen this culture here in India. At least if you are enrolled in a PhD program, then during the coursework, people hardly care about coursework. But remember, many a times this becomes a metric to even disqualify you. So never think that you have got enrolled in a PhD program, so it's a job. It's not a job. It's really like you have become a student all over again. So you have to have the mindset for student. You have to be hardworking, you have to be laborious, and you have to be at it. Also, you have to have a lot of patience, because it's a long journey. So try not to get exhausted. Don't just get so weird down that you find it difficult to sort of get up again and work. Try to have breaks in between. Try to go with your, I mean, try to have holidays and all of those things, but not too many holidays also. We should not make it like a fun ride, right? It is not a fun ride. These breaks are there only to give you that extra boost, which you might lose in the in the journey of PhD, because it's a long journey. So try to have patience, and yeah, but also have friends and talk to friends, also have good relationship with your supervisor. All of those things are going to help you in finding a career and also sustain yourself, right? Because finding a career is not enough. You also have to sustain, because as a faculty, as a assistant professor here, even we also required to write research papers every year. So it's not that your research paper stops the moment you are done with your PhD. No, you have to keep writing till the time you are in your coffin. And if you are a teaching in a field, so you have to also learn about that. So these are some of the important things I would like to suggest to the students who want to come into PhD. If they have these things, I think they can survive.